So the following video, it says to perform the indicated operation and simplify. So we have -1/4 minus -5/28. So we're subtracting fractions. Now remember, when it comes to subtracting fractions, the rules are this. Find the common denominators. Convert your fractions to have the common denominators. Then you can subtract, and then you will simplify. So first we need to find common denominators, and this is how I do that. I always take a look at the smaller number and check to see if it goes into the bigger. So my denominators are 4 and 28, right? 4 is smaller, so I check to see, does 4 go into 28? Well, 4 definitely goes into 28, right? 4 times 7 is 28. So I know that 4 goes into 28, so that means 28 is my common denominator. If 4 had not gone into 28, then I would have kept doing multiples of 28 until I found something that 4 went into. All right, but 4 does go into 28, so that means 28 is our common denominator. So our second fraction has 28 as its denominator already, so I'm just going to drop that bit down. Now our first fraction, we need to convert to have a denominator of 28. So we need to take 4 and change it into 28. Now, in order to do that, remember, we think of 4, and we think 4 times what is 28? Well, 4 times 7 is 28. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 7/7. Now, remember, 7/7 is just equal to 1, so we're really just multiplying by 1, which doesn't change the value of our fraction, it just changes the way it looks. So when we do this, -1 times 7 is -7, and the 4 times 7 gives us 28 here. So now that we've converted and both of our fractions have a common denominator, we're ready to subtract. Now when we subtract, we always keep the common denominator. Once we have the common denominator, that just drops down. We only focus on doing the calculation in the numerator. And in the numerator, we have -7 minus a -5. Now, remember this rule here. This rule is called the double negative rule. Anytime you have two negatives side by side, they're going to cancel out. So this minus a negative right over here, this is most definitely the double negative rule. And they are going to cancel to a positive, making this calculation be -7 plus 5. Well, -7 plus 5, that means different signs. Subtract the numbers. 7 minus 5 is 2. And you take the sign of the bigger number. 7 is bigger than 5. 7 is negative, so our fraction is negative. Step 4, check to see if your fraction can be simplified. If your fraction can be simplified, you definitely need to do so every time. So we're looking at -2/28. This fraction can definitely be simplified because when we look at 2 and 28, they have a 2 in common. And we can divide out a 2 from our numerator and our denominator. And when we do that, -2 divided by 2 is a -1. Over 28 divided by 2 is 14. So we are left with a -1/14 as our final answer. That is it for this video.